Tell me, so what's some of your musical inspirations, man? Who's some?
I mean, it's changed over the years, but
What did it start with then?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Because I've started with
Take
some.
us back to the beginning.
Me too.
I love some Saint Lunatics Nelly, bruh. It's a little different at 25.
I like Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers.
oh wow,
I was very, very old. Old
I'm
soul.
like, oh, granny.
Old soul.
Mama swole.
For me, I know when I was a kid, I was mainly into hip hop, being that I was from the Bronx and whatnot. And then I moved up to it's outside the city in New York, and I made different friends, and they were into rock and heavy metal. And then I used to hate it, but like my best friend, who's the same one that we got into wrestling together, he would always put it on. And at first, I'd be like, "Oh, turn that rock crap off," you know, like I hated it. But then little by little, like certain things I would read, and then I was always a big fan of the Undertaker. So then I'd be like, play Taker music, like something he would come out to.
So,
you know,
it's so funny. It's always the wrestling music
right.
that transitions us. It's always
And
the wrestling music.
Little by little, I started getting into certain songs and certain bands, just because certain like the feel of the vibe of certain songs reminded me of the Undertaker,
Right.
and that's literally how I got into rock and heavy metal. And then. And the 90s was when the big rise of rock rap. You know, like there was some of those in the 80s as well, but they weren't
the game before you the
but
team.
they never made it as big.
Now that you had those inspirations and the genre of music changed, who, I always ask wrestlers this: who are some of the musical inspirations that helps you with your character and who you are when you come to the ring? Like, part of who you are.
So character-wise,
Right.
like my character is basically like almost like a 80s, 90s rock star. You know?
Okay.
Or actually, I would say 80s.
Gotcha.
Like more of Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's really the base of my character.
Well, I
It's
thought
Motley
you was a
Crue.
vampire.
Yeah.
I thought you was a lost boy vampire.
Everybody expected that automatically, like that I was going to be evil and a vampire and dead. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
And then when I came out, everybody was confused because the lights go out, but it's not. It's the presentation. You know, like rock bands come out, they're very much alive. You know, and same thing with the Live Forever thing. It's not literally. It's that I want to be remembered, that I want to accomplish so much that my name lives forever. That's the idea of the Live Forever. You know, so. I would say my character now, music-wise, I would say it has a lot to do with a combination of hair metal, you know, which is those rock bands from the 80s, you know, where they were party guys,
Right.
you know, and between that, and I would do also something like, I don't want to call it gothic, but almost like a soundtrack of The Lost Boys or The Crow, where it's like that, but it still has that cool vibe to it, where it's sex appeal. There is some aspects of that, like a Nirvana aspect, but it's more so so it has sex appeal, a little bit of like just badass.
I feel like grunge is depressing.
Home dude's just
Right,
like
but
Blade.
under a
you know what I
bridge.
mean? It's just,
But like visually,
like a
like
Blade.
when they would pose for pictures, yeah.
Look,
You
Blade's cool, a little dark, but the dude's cool.
That's So
Blood could start falling from the ceiling. I wouldn't be mad.
no, I was like, as long as I look cool and I look
Right,
good.
like I'm not gonna cross you.
So that's basically the basis, and that's actually a lot to do with who I am for real. You know, where I like to look cool. You know, who doesn't like to go out and have a good time? You know, who doesn't want to be surrounded by people that just admire you? Like it's cool. You know, like especially when you're working.
The men want to be you, and the ladies want to be with you.
That's the idea.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, who are in not only relation to some of the inspirations? I always ask people this too. What are some of the best concerts you've been to? What are some of the?
Man, that's a long list. Because one of my favorite things to do is, and unfortunately, the summer's ruined. But I was going to go to so many concerts this summer.
I plan on going to a few too. That's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Bro, I was going to go
I
see
had
Martin
tickets
Lawrence.
to go see him. So
Yeah, I would have gone to see
He was
that
going to
too.
be right here in Orlando.
sad.
But I like festivals where it's just tons of musicians outdoors. I got into them when I was younger, a
Like
teenager.
bands.
Yeah,
Band tour.
Like
so, I love that stuff just because it's all day. There's different bands, there's different even genres of music going on at the same time with different stages. I like those. I've always enjoyed those. You know, I got the opportunity to do. I got the opportunity to do Download Fest in the UK.
oh yeah, you talked about that.
And it was a big rock and metal festival, but it also NXT set up a ring.
I'm so jealous.
and we had our tent, and we had matches, but it was really funny. I would wrestle, get changed, and then run to see bands. With the guys and people I'm friends with, and I had a ball because that was two loves of mine that I get to do at the same time. And then I got hanging out and meeting certain performers, and it was just neat. That was one of my favorite ones to do. So I like festivals.
The thing is though, like going to festivals and shows, hip hop shows, any kind of show of any genre. I've always find that it's always the most fun to go to their shows. Not when they're like at the very bottom or at their peak. When they're like right there.
Oh, which is awesome because I've seen so many bands that were there and now they're just huge.
Yeah.
But
you can't see them like easy.
They're in that zone. The performances, they're not like at the peak, like where like their first album blows up, but they're not like at the very bottom either.
Right.
It's like you can see it hitting that groove. They come a couple times a year. Each show gets better, and you feel like you grow as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Them like that.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Then when